G'day everyone, I'm AzureBlaze, and on the 17th of August, Waven, an online MMO tactical RPG by French studio Ankama, went into its early access both through their official launcher and on Steam. It is a game I have been waiting quite a while for, and in this video I am going to go over my early thoughts on it. However, before I get started, a little bit of context may be a good idea. The universe of Waven is the same as that of Ankama's previous games Dofus and Waifu. I first got into this universe after watching the Waifu cartoon as a child and further rewatching it and the new content later down the line. From there, I discovered the games that went with it and played them quite a bit. Therefore, when Waven was announced, I was quite excited, and with the small amount of context out of the way, I'm going to start discussing my thoughts on the game in its current state. I guess probably to start off with different things that I can talk about with it. When it first launched, it had a big old problem for a lot of people where it was coming up with an unexpected error before even getting into the game, which was a little bit of a problem that happened to me as well. I mean, it got fixed quite quickly type thing, and I was sort of in there pretty quickly after that. However, it's probably not the most ideal way to have your game launch to most people, because despite it being early access, this is going to be what most people think of as the launch of the game, because it is fairly well rounded. It's mostly I guess content complete for the beginning of what the game would be. I mean, if you compare it to their previous games after many updates, it really doesn't have that much content compared to them. However, to start with, this is generally content complete, I feel, and to launch in a state where there's a huge error, or in some cases, and I've had this problem as well, although not as much as what other people have been, but what I've seen at the very least, where the server itself will lag, and you will try to do an attack and it'll wait for a little while, keep on waiting, and then it will finally do it. However, the problem with that is, because it is a tactical RPG in, I guess, a similar sort of vein to Fire Emblem, however, different again. I probably will get to that in a moment anyway. However, the turns run down for yourself, and even with the server lagging like it is, whilst it's waiting to do the move, the turns continue to run down, which was a huge problem. Luckily, as I said, I haven't had it that much. However, but I understand a lot of people have had that, and that has been a big problem. Going on to gameplay, however, Waven follows its predecessors a fair bit, where basically what you have is a deck of different abilities that your character can use. You get to choose from 5 classes in Waven, which is a little bit of a downgrade, I guess, from the, I don't know, I'm going to take a guess off the top of my head and say 20-something classes in Waifu currently. However, they'll be adding more in. I don't doubt that they'll be definitely adding more in. I chose a Craw, which is a bow person, and yeah, no, I have been quite enjoying playing the game thus far. Yeah, as I was also saying, you get abilities that you get to use, and then you have basically sort of what's I guess a magic meter in a lot of other games, whereas you have 6 of this magic that you can use, and each ability is rated at its own level of magic. Generally, I guess the ones you'd start with are 1 to 7. Some abilities give you another 1 piece of magic that you can use later on at your own choice and everything like that, and yeah, then you sort of add it and you can use the 7 ones and all that sort of thing. And yeah, it depends, the higher they're rated, generally the more powerful they are. They all have different abilities, like fire ones that can take out people who have been oiled and all that sort of thing. And yeah, it's quite a diverse gameplay style, I think, and it is a little bit random for a lot of things, because I guess it depends what card comes into your hand at any time. Not necessarily like a card game itself, however, it is basically a deck. It's called a deck in the game. However, yeah, you get these abilities, you can use them and all that sort of thing. You can as well, which I think is new to Waven, I'm pretty sure Waifu didn't have it, however I may be wrong, you can have up to 4 companions join you in your little team, and you build them up by using different abilities of different, I guess, types. There's fire, water and all that sort of thing, and You use them, every time you use one you get 1 or 2 or however many the card says, basically. Not really a card again, however how many it says that it'll increase, and once you get enough of the fire, water, grass, leaf I guess, or whatever it is, and other one, air thing, gas, I don't know, whatever it is, yeah, once you get enough of that you can call in a companion who fits the criteria of what you've gotten. And yeah, you can have up to 4. You can get more companions throughout the game, you unlock them, type of thing. And yeah, I quite like that addition personally. I like having I guess the biggest thing with those companions is probably the fan service. Anyone who's like knows the games will probably know a fair amount of the companions you can get, because a lot of them are previous characters and or characters from the show specifically, which, I mean, for new players, they're basically going to be basic companions that you don't really know that much. However, for people like me, when I get to unlock Hugo and Evangeline and all that sort of thing, that's going to be great because I get to use them on the field and I know who they are. However, yeah, for new people, I guess it's pretty basic, I guess. That's the other thing I've noticed with this game. It's very good, not necessarily good, very good for new people. It seems very toned down to allow new players to get into it. One example of this is basically when you select a hero, the types are all laid out. There's like archer, warrior, and all that sort of thing. Whereas generally in previous games, they'd be called by their race names. And for people like me who know their race names, you can switch into, I think it's like an advanced mode, and it'll show their races and all that sort of thing. And then you have different options for different difficulties of each character in their race type thing, and like it's way more expanded in that area. However, for beginners, back on the normal version, yeah, you choose from your archer, warrior, it gives you a pretty basic one, and you're pretty set to go, and off you go, basically. You know, I think that's pretty neat at the same time. However, like, I do like being able to switch to the more advanced mode for someone like myself who knows a fair amount about this series. I think for the first time ever, this game has voice acting compared to the previous games. The other ones had like noises that characters made and all that sort of thing. However, I'm pretty sure this is like the first time they've had voice acting, and basically almost every character is voice acted, by what I've seen. Well, by what I've seen, every character is voice acted thus far, which is actually quite neat in my opinion. I really like that, despite how sometimes the voice acting can be a little bit iffy. However, for the most part, I quite enjoy it actually. I think it's quite nice to have voice acting in it, because I'm not a huge reader. Generally, I don't like RPGs at all. The only reason I really play these ones is because, I mean, it's more tactical, I guess. It's not a turn-based or anything. Like, it is turn-based. However, like, it works in that grid format, which I don't mind the grid format. Yeah, anyway, that's off topic. However, like, you know, I quite enjoy, like, having voice acting and everything like that, being able to hear what everyone's saying rather than have to read it all the time. That's quite fun. And then it sort of links to the story. The story basically is the whole world has been flooded since Wakfu, I guess, because the characters are back. And you got these little islands basically of what's left. It's sort of like Wind Waker, in a sense, to Zelda Wind Waker. Sort of thing. And then, yeah, you choose your class of hero and you go off on adventures and do different quests and all sorts of things. It's a pretty basic story. However, like, it gets going, and I'd imagine they're going to be adding more stories later like they did with Wakfu and Dofus. However, yeah, no, and yeah, I think it sort of gets the game going. However, I don't think it's too terribly over the top. Yeah. I guess that's probably the last thing I have to talk about. However, yeah, sorry there isn't like any like specific footage on screen to what I'm saying. This is more going to be very loosely scripted and all that sort of thing. I'm going to be very, very busy over the next few weeks. Therefore, the Wednesday videos are probably going to be fairly loose. I'm going to see how I go. However, yeah, they're probably going to be a little bit loose. However, overall thoughts for the game itself. I am quite enjoying it thus far. I don't know if I'm going to do that many videos on it or anything like that, because I actually don't know how long I'm going to be playing it for. Like, whilst I'm enjoying it now, something that happened with Wakfu and Dofus is me with my RPG problems is I tend to get very bored of them after a little bit, therefore I'm expecting the same thing to happen here. Yeah, because not much that sort of stuff engages me. However, at the moment I'm having fun. I know once I get to like a certain amount of hours, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm done. That was my experience with Waven. I'm happy with it, and that's where I'm leaving it, type thing, because that's what happened with Wakfu and Dofus. However, yeah, no, at the moment I'm having quite a lot of fun. I enjoy that a lot of the characters are in there, and the world and all that sort of thing. That's quite nice as well. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I do recommend it to anyone who's thinking about it, type thing. Anyone who's looking at it and going, oh, that looks different, type thing. Oh, one other thing to touch on, I guess, is the animation in this game is amazing. It's a huge step up from the previous games. I mean, to make sense after the amount of years it's been in between Wakfu and Waven. However, the animation is amazing. I think it looks really, really nice overall. Everything's pretty much everything's animated. Even on the title screen, you can move the mouse and it'll move different things around. I like that. Quite fun. However, yeah. Overall, I think it's really good thus far. It does have a bit of problems, as any game seems to have these days, which is a bit of a Oh, well, overall though, yeah, I have been quite enjoying it, and I do definitely recommend it. However, for now, I believe that is all from me. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I shall be back in the next one. Cheers, everyone.